Good day, good day, good day, good day, good day, good day. This is Mr. Anderson. You have to realize who you're speaking with, and speaking to, listening to, having a conversation with. As my mind aligns and my experience and my reality shifts to my higher self, or to a, higher intelligence, that conversations I feel like sometimes I'm having to ask questions more, because I've always listened, and I've always asked questions, and I've always really yet people don't like to be questioned. Most people don't like to be questioned, or they feel like you're attacking them while you're asking a question. And then when you base your question off of something they say, they change the way they say it, or they get defensive, or they don't want to hear what you have to say. They don't want to hear your questioning of they don't want you questioning what they're saying. It's crazy, to say the least. Yet I found myself not defending myself, yet just trying to understand what they're saying, because a lot of times people don't make sense. And I hate to say that. I know I'm not perfect. Don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. I just listen. And for instance, I was talking to a lawyer a couple days ago, and he wasn't making no sense. And I questioned him and question him and the system. Yet that lets me know that a lot of people are just doing what they're taught. And I understand that. That's what you're taught. That's the system you're in. Yet morals have no value. Reality really has no value in today's society. Shit, ever. It's just, that's why I always say you have to align with yourself, with your higher self, and be who you are, and dig deep within to figure out who you are, your purpose, your life, where you come from, what you want, and create your own way of doing things, or a creative survival, create a way to survive in a manner that, well, it's productive for you as well as the ones around you. Yeah, I've changed my mind. And I remember listening to David Banner speech, and he said he's always been for his people. You go back and listen to his music, that he's always been this. It's just he didn't realize. And a lot of times we are always who we are within in the beginning. We just don't realize it. We just don't realize it until it's later on, because you have to go through that growth. You have to go through that alignment with yourself to really find that with you are. Find that with you are. Find that who you are. And like, when I look back in my life as I'm creating, being creative and doing some things, and y'all be creating my app and my system and all that. When I look back at my life, man, it's like, man, I've always, and then speaking with my dad yesterday and friend, like, I've always had this high imagination. I've always had an imagination out of this world. I love art. I love science, seeing, I was walking with a friend of mine yesterday, and we were seeing those Waymo vans, and I was like, wow, like, that's somebody's imagination. And y'all see me ride around in a Tesla, that's somebody's imagination. These cars, everyday cars we take for granted sometimes, that was somebody's imagination. That was somebody's creative thought. The houses, bridges, the highways, roads, lights, light poles, like all this stuff that we take for granted and don't realize that's around us, that was somebody's thought. It was somebody's alignment with their higher self. So we have to change, how we are, and you have to realize who you're speaking with. Like, I remember my therapist, my therapist session, that I went to. I was told that they might think I was depressed. And they were like, when I went into the therapy session and talked to the two ladies, and they were like, man, Mr. Anderson, you're not depressed. You're tired. You're tired. You need help. And it's like, exactly. That's what I've been screaming all this time. I need help. And the sad part about all that is, I really could be dead. And I say that, or in an accident. Let me just say that I could have really been in a bad accident, because I was so exhausted driving home, back and forth to work every day, and not being, taking care of the family and all this other stuff, and just the lack of rest, and plus my blood pressure was high. So when you add on all those conditions to what it is, then you really think your body and mind and your age is going to react. It's for every action there's a reaction. That's going to be something. For every action there's a reaction. If you're lack of, you're going to have that reaction. So with that, man, it's life. We have to figure out a way that we got a police beside me. So we got to figure out a way to create and be whole with ourselves, man, and really understand, when we're talking. And I know I know everybody's reality is different. I know everybody's educational background is different. I know we all have a purpose in this life. We all have a direction. Yet, just telling you from my experiences, I have to, because of the way my mind is, that, and I notice the way my mind is, that if it doesn't make sense, I'm gonna ask a question, or is it doesn't, it's not gonna say makes sense in a bad way, yet in a bad way too, but if it just Like I'm not understanding, or I can't visualize what you see, or I visualize what you see, and it's just something's off. So I'm going to question. But then I got to a point where I don't question. I stop questioning, especially understanding that type of person, the people that I'm around. You know, if it doesn't, what's the word I'm looking for? I lost train of thought. If it just doesn't make sense, I'm gonna question it. Or I'll just stop. I won't say nothing. I'll just listen. You know, it depends on the conversation, and that's part of some of our relationships, man. That a lot of times, as men and women, I'm just speaking for myself. I don't know. I know there were times that I just wanted my partner to listen, and I'm not downing no one. I'm not downing her. I'm not downing anyone. It just, she didn't know how to just listen. She just wanted to fix. And I'm like, I don't need that. I'm very, very capable of doing that myself. And I know you want to help, but I just want to talk to my partner. I just want to talk. I don't want you to fix it. I want to be able to get it out. Yet once we do things like that, and it's always a fix, trying to fix it, or a judgment, then you start pulling away. You start pulling away from friends, family, you know, religion, whatever. You just start pulling away from things because we're in search of what we want and what we need. We all need that spiritual guidance, that spiritual alignment, our spiritual understanding, our family understanding, our family guidance, our family ear, family these tools that we have now can help. It's like tools that can help. You know, there's tools out there that can help us. You know, you gotta tap into them for everyone. You know, we could sit there and scroll on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and get understanding and knowledge, but you can scroll on those things and get a bunch of nothing. I love creative thoughts. I love creativity. I love getting on there and seeing the creativity and the comedy and the fun and the laugh, but yet also the craziness. It's just, you know, unnecessary stuff is unnecessary. A lot of stuff is unnecessary. You really can't tell everybody's life is a commercial now. You just never can tell what's real and what's fake anymore, because everything is a reality show. So, and I think some of that hinders our mental growth as men and women in this society. And anyway, I just realized the conversation and reaction of when I'm having a conversation, and if something I don't understand, and I think people are scared to ask questions. Like I was telling my dad yesterday, I'm not the same person I was back then. I'm not. You know, self-esteem was lower. I had been through some bad experiences in relationships and stuff, but I taught myself that, you know, seeing media and seeing things going on around you, regardless of how much money you have, no matter how much money you have, or how fine you are, or how sexy you are, and how good, whatever it is, if somebody gonna cheat, they're gonna cheat, because that's within them. It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with me. people can use something small and turn it into, well, that's why I did it, issue. You didn't scratch my back that day, and dude came in and scratched my back. She didn't show me no affection. We all can use that reverse psychology type stuff or whatever. And that's that. But you have to know yourself. You have to know and align yourself with yourself, man. And it's all, we have a lot of tools. And I'm big on tools. I'm creating one that's going to help, that can help. Yeah, man, it's just, you know, you as I sit there and my mind grows, and I was always wondering why I had a hard time reading. I still do. I have a hard time reading. I admit that. I have a hard time with reading because my mind is looking at the letters, pronouncing the letters, or just reading the sentence, reading each letter is like the letters does not sound like what it looks like. And I'm trying to imagine what I'm reading. Like I'm physically there. If I'm reading a sentence about anything, I'm in that sentence. I'm imagining the forest. If I'm reading a book that says the forest has green clove trees and purple flowers and, you know, some flower that I can't pronounce, so I'm actually standing in that forest. I'm actually looking and smelling and seeing and hearing the things that are in there. And so part of my mind is doing this, and part of my mind is doing that, and the other part of my mind is smelling. So all of my senses are intact, and it makes it hard for me to focus on the words, and then the words don't look right. The words do not look right. The words don't look like they're supposed to look. So it's just like my brain signals gets crossed. Even when I'm skimming through something, I've caught myself having to really stop and read, because if I don't, I'm gonna miss something. I've had that happen a couple times, and I have to slow down. It's like I gotta slow my mind down and read instead of just skim through it real quick, because I'm missing stuff, because all that words are jumbled. So, but anyway, but we have to, I'm just saying, you know, I realized my growth. And when I look back, actually yesterday I was on my way to work, and, you know, my creative mind was just constant going, because I'm walking. I feel like walking for me is what really calms me down. The gym was what it was, but I think I'm kind of past that a little bit. I think just walking is just the best for me at this point. Even though I do like the weights and all that stuff, kettlebells and all that stuff. But anyway, we just have to figure out what it is, man. We just really have to figure what that is for us to do and to be. And I love my peace. I love my peace. And if I get too many things, just like with anything, you can only take one bite at a time. If there's all these things going on, because I want to give everything my 100%. I want to give everything 100% effort. And if I don't, it's, you know, I'm gonna get overwhelmed, and I'm gonna my brain is gonna be full. And I've had that happen. I just recently had that happen a couple days, last week. Like, I was trying to find an audio book to read while I was walking, and I couldn't. I always go to my main book, but I couldn't, because I didn't want that in my mind at the time. It was like I was full. So I just put on some vibration and some tuning forks music to really kind of help calm my brain, and it did. It actually gave me time to think of what I needed to do, because I needed to let some of this creativity out, and I did. And y'all gonna see y'all gonna see real soon see the making, what I've made and created of that. But anywho, I won't be on here too long. Appreciate you. This is Mr. Anderson. And man, y'all lying. Be yourself, be your highest self. Man, love yourself. Be free. Be thankful. Be joy. Be giving. Be. Good day.